Given the progress that SoundHound AI is making in its technology development, a lot of investors are talking about SoundHound AI as the next big AI investment in the stock market. So in this video, I'll go through the latest developments at SoundHound AI and elaborate a little bit on why so many investors are talking about SoundHound stock. Let's take a look.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
SoundHound AI told investors on November 12th, 2024, that many of their customers are using AI agents for a variety of tasks, from booking flights to bank transfers to health queries to hotel reservations. And if you think about these areas, if you have any experience in these areas, you'll know that customer service is critical to the customer value proposition. If you're unable to deliver that customer service, then the perception of your business is significantly lowered from customers. This is especially true with banks, where customer interactions are now becoming more automated. But at times when a customer needs to communicate with somebody at the bank, the service is limited. If you go to an in-person bank, long lines to be sure, and most likely you're not going to find the person there that you need to talk to. Most banks have eliminated mortgage representatives in person at the banks. You now can only talk to them over the phone. And there's other services that they've also eliminated as well. And so banks need to embrace artificial intelligence if they are also embracing this lower touch customer service that also lowers their costs. So this is a key area where I feel SoundHound AI can make huge inroads as it communicates with banks and expands. Additionally, health services, right? That's a area where artificial intelligence, one of the areas I'm most excited about with artificial intelligence. People's health records are so complex. There's so much history. And when you call in to speak to somebody, they may not have all of that up-to-date information so that they can respond to your questions in the timely manner that you would like. But if they can implement artificial intelligence that incorporates all of your data real time, you can ask the AI questions and you can get answers incorporating all of your information. So there's a lot of potential here in these categories, and SoundHound AI is already making inroads. Their automotive portfolio continues to grow, and they're seeing strong traction in the EV space. They just won a large deal with a new up-and-coming EV manufacturer in the Middle East this quarter. And this is an area they've already made great progress in, and they continue expanding. It's an area where communicating human to electronic is most beneficial to have voice instead of touch. Because when you're driving, your hands need to be on the wheel and your eyes need to be on the road. So you don't want to be interfacing with these devices, with your consoles, with your dashboard, etc., with your hands and looking and reading and trying to type things in there when your eyes should be on the road. So it's an area that will improve safety and will improve adoption because of the safety improvements. And then on top of that, the convenience enhancements will get customers on board and willing to pay those higher prices that could be asked by these manufacturers that incorporate this technology. So they've already signed 4 EV manufacturers. 2 of them already have their technology live on the road. Stellantis is in various markets, but more importantly, 7 of their brands have now rolled out their generative AI enhanced digital assistant, with Lancia in Europe being the latest. So you're already seeing traction with this technology in one of the largest brands in the world, one of the largest car companies in the world, Stellantis. I wouldn't be surprised if more manufacturers adopt this technology because the cost of implementing the technology according to SoundHound AI management, is not that high. And most of these vehicles already have microphones in them. And so, including SoundHound AI's technology doesn't add that much incremental cost to the production process, but it adds a lot of value to the customer. So it seems like a no-brainer that SoundHound AI would evolve in this category and start its growth in this category because it's one of the most practical use cases with the lower cost to implement. And you can implement with deals with just a few brands and a few car companies that can expand your growth so significantly. And it's good to see that SoundHound AI is gaining traction here. Another great sign for the company is their international presence. They're beginning another partnership with one of the largest Chinese multinational tech companies in the world, supporting their focus on their accelerating automotive industry. And China's automotive industry is exploding on the scene. I think one of the biggest mistakes the US government made was to do this forced adoption of electric vehicles. And that really gave the Chinese car companies an advantage here because the US car companies used to have a strong market share in China. They're now losing significant market share as the Chinese car companies, the Chinese EV companies, are able to produce EVs at much lower cost and sell them at much lower price points and are gaining huge market share in China. You've seen companies like Ford and GM pull back their investments in the region and just kind of give up and say, look, we're not going to be able to compete with these Chinese car companies anymore. And they're going to grow and they're going to take more and more market share in that region. And US car companies are going to lose out significant market share in the Chinese market. Also, SoundHound AI is growing within the Indian market with a recent deal with the truck manufacturer, a joint venture with Volvo and Acer to add voice AI assistance. So there you have the two biggest markets in the world in terms of population in China and India, and SoundHound AI has already entered those markets and is making inroads in those markets. Those are massive populations. Now, they're in development, so they're growing much faster than the US market. And sometimes these markets are better for the latest technologies because these markets in the US, we kind of go through these incremental improvements in technology because we're on the leading edge of technology in most categories worldwide. And so we have this sort of incremental improvement as we adopt one layer of technology on top of the other. Whereas markets in India and China, sometimes they just leapfrog to the latest technology. They just jump like 6 levels of technology because they the technology improves so quickly that you don't even have to these developing economies don't even have to take the steps. They can just jump from one category 6 levels higher to the latest generation technology. And they often do that. They often do that. And artificial intelligence could be another area where that's how development goes in these markets. Instead of incremental improvements, they just make those big leaps all at once. They're significantly behind in the technology, and then they just leap all the way to the latest generation, just following along the US market or other markets that have demonstrated the areas where it's makes cost effective sense to go ahead and make those improvements. So this growth in SoundHound AI's business in all of these different parts and different parts of the world, really demonstrating the potential of the business. They grew revenue by 90% in the very latest quarter. Has a lot of investors excited and talking about this as a big opportunity investment. Very high risk, but very high reward potential with SoundHound AI stock.
Hey everyone, if you like watching my videos, then I've added a great complimentary product just for you. I've written a book that's available for sale now that highlights my 6-step investing framework. Even if you don't follow that investing framework, just reading it and knowing how I evaluate stocks will make it a lot more interesting and informative to watch my videos. I've added the link in the description below.